If Kamala will lie to you so brazenly about Joe Biden's mental incapacity, then she will lie to you about anything. She can never, ever be trusted. She can't be trusted. And just like crooked Joe Biden, Kamala Harris is unfit to lead. She's unfit to lead.
I mean, he makes a really good point. If she's lying to you about Joe Biden's mental capability, what would she? I mean, you honestly trust? No, of course you don't. You don't trust her to be honest about anything. And I think that's an actual decent point, and that's one that maybe Republicans should maybe kind of be pointing out to. Don't you think so? To Democrat voters. Welcome back to the program. Top of this third hour with you, Dana Loesch. You can listen coast to coast, channel 347, DirecTV, Rumble, X, all that good stuff. I think that Republicans need to work to define who she is a little harder, even though, I mean, I know it's a scant record, etc. But I think it's important to like audio soundbite 1, because she wanted to get rid of ICE. Kamala Harris did, and the border is what she's the weakest on. Listen to this, because KJP was asked about this. She dodged.
President Biden wants Vice President Harris to be the standard bearer of the party now. Does she still want to get rid of ICE?
You have seen what this administration has been able to do in the past 3.5 years, and they did that with the vice president as a partner in that. And Republicans got in the way. The president went around Republicans and was able to get thousands of personnel at the border. And now we are seeing a 50% drop at the border. And that's because of what this president has done.
What? A 50% drop in the border based on what that president has done. I don't.
50%. So millions?
Yeah, millions,
Okay.
apparently.
Okay.
This is how I think this is the way that Republicans have got to push forward to define her. And I wanted to bring up, because he had a contentious back and forth, as you can imagine, with her. This was really, he was on the border issue. He stayed on the border issue. And I think it's interesting that this is the White House press briefing, and all the questions were about Kamala Harris. Audio soundbite 2. Listen to this. This was from yesterday.
As a partner, though, she's been in charge of root causes of migration for years. She has never spoken to the Border Patrol Chief, Jason Owens, or the Border Patrol Chief before him, Raul Ortiz. What should that tell us about her leadership style?
She was supposed to be doing root causes, dealing with diplomacy.
And
Diplomacy.
that's not
Wait,
involved.
diplomacy. That's what her job was supposed to be. Diplomatic. That's the job. And I understand that you're asking these questions, but we should also look at congressional Republicans who got in the way.
What do you mean? That's neither. What do you mean diplomacy? Remember, Harris said she wanted to go down and look for the root causes of people wanting to leave crappy countries, probably. That's probably a root cause. It's harder to start a business there. That's probably a root cause. You're not supposed to say that, because when Trump said it, they got really upset with him for saying it. But when she said that she wanted to go and visit and figure out the root causes of this, I kind of had to laugh, because we all know the issue isn't that's not our issue. The root causes of it is another country's issue. Our issue is not having an open, porous border and not doing our due diligence by our citizens. That's the big thing. So Biden spoke last night, and I thought he didn't actually give a reason as to why he was stepping down. And KJP, and I want to come back to this press conference, audio soundbite 4, she did not help things with this statement before he spoke. But listen to this, because this does not sound like, if you're so confident that you could actually win a second term, why would you drop out then? Listen to her spin here.
If the president believes that it's best for the country that he not be in the Oval Office for another 4 years, how can you assure the American people that he's up to be in the office for the next 6 months?
Well, first I would say is that, and I've heard these suggestions out there. This is not an answer to you. This is an answer to the suggestions that I've had. I've heard about him resigning from office. We believe, and any suggestion of that note is ridiculous. It is not what we believe. The president, I just laid out what the president has been able to do in almost 4 years, and it's been successful. He's been able to do more, again, than any president has been able to do in 2 terms. He's been able to do that more in 1 term. And he wants to
then why
finish
did
the
he
job
step
that
down?
he started.
It's not because he doesn't believe that he could serve in a second term, but he stepped down for a reason. Why is that? Why is that? I mean, I don't know. Speaking of Biden's speech yesterday, audio soundbite 8, he had, you knew it, he had to go here. He had to pull this one back out of the hat, talking about why he's stepping down as a way to, I think, obfuscate. Listen, audio soundbite 8.
We were in the grip of the worst pandemic in the century, the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression, the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War.
What?
We came together as Americans. We got through it.
Worst
We
attack
emerged
on
strong.
democracy since the Civil War. I mean, 9/11 and Pearl Harbor also happened, but okay. Oh man, that's I don't really believe that a party that doesn't allow for the democratic choosing of their nominee to lecture other people about democracy. I don't. And then I thought when he started this is audio soundbite 9, I thought actually when he started this statement, I could tell where he was going with it, and I thought he was going to explain maybe why he's stepping down, why he's passing the torch. And he didn't. He didn't really. How do you get this close to it and not actually say why you're stepping down? Audio soundbite 9.
A cause of American democracy itself. We must unite to protect it. You know, in recent weeks, it's become clear to me that I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor. I believe my record as president, my leadership in the world, my vision for America's future, all merited a second term. But nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. That's the best way to unite our nation.
He's decided. He's decided. You honestly believe that he decided? He didn't decide. He didn't decide any of this. If he was so confident about it, he would have stayed. But he saw the writing on the wall. That's the reality of the situation. He saw the reality on the wall, and he knew that it wasn't going to happen. Knew it wasn't going to happen. And so now he's out. There's some momentum now for Kamala Harris. They keep going with some of these. They're trying to look at, I was looking at this Axios poll that's out, and it shows Gen Z voters, but I don't really think you've had a true measure of Gen Z showing up yet. So I don't know about this one. But younger voters typically don't turn out, though. Democrats always say this, and they always get excited about it every year, but it never actually comes into fruition. It never actually turns into anything. And there was this Reuters Ipsos poll out showing a 2-point shift favorability towards Harris, but that's just putting it at 44-42. This is in her favor. But I think that's as much of a bump as you're going to get. And I think, as I said yesterday, a lot of it is relief to not have Biden. You still have 14% undecideds that are going to determine that. As I said, all this is just determined in the margins. They're going to be the ones who are making the determination on that. So I don't know. It's interesting. And looking at this, it's Axios said, Harris has opened up an early edge with young voters. Now, I haven't broken this. This came out this morning. And they said that it's a key component of her path to the presidency, except they don't vote. I mean, that's historical. They literally don't vote. It's an Axios Generation Lab poll. And they said, Trump looks like his efforts at chipping away the youth vote from Democrats is slowing down. That's, again, it's the novelty of having a new candidate all of a sudden in the 11th hour, and that's going to go away, especially when she's put into the grind, and the media can try to save her as much as they want to. Republicans need to solidify how she's defined for the public and not give her the chance to do it herself. That's and the media has already been trying to do it, as we talked about with the border crisis stuff. And the borders they've been trying to retcon this. The other part of the retconning, and I wanted to pull this up. Where's this at? Let me pull this up. This was wild. I had retweeted this out. So this was GovTrack. Now, GovTrack it's tracking the U.S., tracking Congress, and it's supposed to be just like a bipartisan. It's not supposed to be a super zealous thing, right? You should be able to, I don't know, like figure out where people stand on issues without having it spun for you in a certain way. It's Civic Impulse. It's supposed to be an independent entity, blah, blah, blah. They try to make, like it's a big deal about it. Well, they've been scrubbing her ranking as one of the most far left senators. They started erasing it. And Axios has been erasing all of this stuff on their website. They're not the only digital entity to do this. But apparently GovTrack went back and they were erasing her ranking as the most liberal U.S. senator. And this is according to a couple of different folks, including NRSC and independent journalists as well. It's supposed to be a nonpartisan third-party thing. They ranked her as the most liberal senator in 2019, and they removed that page from their website. And people were saying that's them scrubbing her history and trying to rehabilitate her as more of a moderate. I mean, she was ranked most liberal compared to all senators. And there are screenshots of the page that exist. And it was a CBS interview that she had. Let me pull this up if we can. I'm going to put this in Slack. There was an interview that she gave with CBS where she was told, "You're the most liberal U.S. senator." And this was back during, I think this was back during her in 2020 when she was running with Biden. And she said, "Oh yeah, it was Mike Pence." Somebody said that it was Mike Pence on the debate stage. And CBS said, "No, actually it was GovTrack that said it." And she had no idea what to say to that. So now GovTrack has erased that page. I put that, if we can play that real quick. That was from 2020. Listen to this.
In the policies that you've supported in the past. You're considered the most liberal United States senator.
Somebody said that, and it actually was Mike Pence on the debate stage. But
yeah, well, actually, the nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator. You supported the Green New Deal. You supported Medicare for all. You're very different.
She just stared. She had no idea what to do. She just had that goofy, like, and then she just sort of stared. So CBS was like, "No, that was GovTrack that said that." Well, now GovTrack is erasing it. They've erased it. The retconning. It's major retconning. They've erased it. The only thing that exists now are if it's Wayback Machine or the borders are. I mean, they were trying to say, "Oh no, it was only the right that called her the border czar." Axios 2021 had a story. They had another story this April. You had the Hoover Institute. She was a border czar. CNBC called her a border czar. That is straight up full on Soviet. And Axios, Red State caught Axios scrubbing their stories. They were scrubbing their stories. Any story where it mentioned that she was a border czar or in charge of the border. Remember, they had to put that little disclaimer, that little correction on one of their stories yesterday. Now they're scrubbing all of their stories. This is brave. This is 1984.